Like there's some things that are so gross that people aren't going to do after.
Yeah.
Like wearing masks on airplanes. Like that just should be normal. Or like all the concerts and
like washing your hands after you touch like literally anything.
Everything.
It should be like that. And concerts and like mosh pits when you're that close to people.
Ooh.
And no one took issue with that.
Yeah.
Until there was something spreading around.
Which now that you think about it, you're like, oh, that was really gross. I'm like, we watch movies right now, and Gabby will literally be sitting there like, Dad, they're gonna get corona. I'm like, honey, this movie was made 30 years ago. Like, it's okay.
I watched, it's like, why aren't they wearing masks?
Yeah.
What I watched Ocean's 11 last night, and I
Yeah.
go, wait, they're really close together. They're not wearing masks, and they're in. Why is they allowed to have a casino? They don't have the screens. They don't have the separators.
I wonder if that's how like the rest of the world, like South Korea has been very masked. Southeast Asia, they've worn masks for a long time. I wonder if they look at all of our movies like that, like for the last 30, 40 years. They're like, what a bunch of idiots. Like, hello. And they're just, living their best life now. Because like, masks are cool now. We were just ahead of the trend. And now we're looking like a bunch of morons. And yeah, the movie thing is, it's funny. Because like you'll watch a TV show and you're like, okay, this was made 2 years ago. So it's okay. Like you just, it's, whether you agree with the whole thing or not, it's like, it still like sticks there. Like, okay, what's like seeing kids in a group playing a sport, like within 11 months has become weird. Right. I mean, and I'm using air quotes, which, air quotes, but air quotes via audio. I should say air quotes first before I actually do it. But no, I mean, it's like it suddenly became odd to see groups of people together. And it took 11 months, 5 months, 6 months. I mean, it's, you guys, it's what, let's see, a 17th and 18th of your life now has been spent in COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
Super
for,
weird.
That's really
weird,
weird,
right? And you did 2 or 3 months of it post-op. Like, so you had the benefit of having surgery in the middle of all that shenanigans.
So you'd be out of it anyways.
Really nice.
Yeah, right? It was really nice, right? Like, it gave you something to focus on
Like
other
the
than...
perfect time.
Yeah. So rundown, you had microfracture because you had some...
So, like, segments of my knee were, like, floating around. And so they had to, like, go in there, microfracture. Yeah. And grab them piece by piece. And pretty much, hopefully... They were like, hopefully it grows back. Like, well, it was like a 50-50 chance. And then it ended up not growing back. So now I'm going to...
Kind of in limbo right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of hurry up and wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a basketball player, that's not easy. But then again, at the same time, not really playing basketball right now.
Yeah. And they also told me that probably not going to be able to play basketball anymore. Like, sports like that are like so...
super high impact.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's not any fun. Compounded with, hey,
really
guess what? You don't get to go to the house. You have to stay home with your sister, and your brother left for college. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not easy. Part of why I wanted to like chat with you guys too is, as we were talking about this is, you've got a lot of kids that, I mean, you guys are junior senior, so it's like you've had enough time on the back end, the juniors and seniors, I should say, who can drive mainly and have been in school. You've had a lot of time to like, kind of like, okay, I can get through this because I've done other stuff, right? Yeah. The kids that I don't know what they're going to do are the ones that are, grade school, like Heath's age and Gabby's age. And it's like, they don't have mobility. They're trapped with their parents. If their parents are awesome, that's great. But if their parents are, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, it's like, okay, we got a bunch of little sociopaths in training here all of a sudden. Yeah. And then, how are they going to deal with that? And what are they going to, do? Because I mean, sitting all day on a Zoom, I mean, you're almost 8 hours of screen time a day, right?
I'd say more than that, probably.
More than that with mock trial, and your extracurricular stuff. Yeah.
Well, I start at 8 and end at either 2 or 2:45.
Right.
And afterwards, I think you still need to use your computer.
All your homework's online too, because you don't do anything on paper anymore.
It's just
I
added.
didn't think about that.
And then the things that I do for free time, if that's watching TV anymore, I can't do that anymore because I have to get on my computer.
Right. And then it's more screen time.
Right. And but I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. At least my mom's been trying to get him to do stuff because she said I have the benefit, which obviously you can weigh that with losing my senior year, but I get to leave.
You do get to leave.
And I go, I'm going to go drive around and go get Dutch. And she's like, okay.
Or go work out.
Yeah, or go work out, and he can't do anything.
Right. Yeah. Assuming Heath wants to do something too. So.
Well, he wants to play sports, I think, with his friends.
Sports. Yeah.
And the only time, I think it's weird that the only time you can play sports right now is if it's fake in movies.
Right, or video games.
Yeah, which is more screen time.
Yeah, more screen time. Yeah, that's a tough one because like your sister's in cheer and they're still, again, air quotes for audio only, practicing.
Yeah.
But they can't touch anybody. They can't do their like vaults or their throws or their contact stuff, and somehow cheer got designated as a high contact activity. I'm like, okay,
it does not make sense.
That doesn't make. I mean, wrestling I get, right, because you're like locked up tight, and everything. And on the flip side, like track or cross country, like because you run, it's like right, yeah, you're outside. You can space that. You could actually just run track and cross country as individuals with a clock and still get the same outcome.
Yeah, or space 3 people on a track, 2 lanes apart.
Right, but like
it'll just take longer.
But why cheer has been designated as a contact sport, and they are because they practice inside. I mean, it's the only thing I can come up with. It's like, yeah, but you can still do it all outside.
And it's also the fact that you're only touching your own team. Yeah, so everyone that you're working out with and practicing with, it's not like, oh, I'm going to go run into someone, I'm going to wrestle against someone who's I don't see
in a
every
different
day.
Bubble. Yeah.
But you're throwing people that you see every day and practice with anyways.
Yeah, I think more of it's going to be like dancing and like tumbling, like not as much
presentation
like
acrobatics versus team. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's. I mean.
I hope it's that because.
At least that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like.
People.
What?
People up in the air.
Yeah, right. It's like I guess we don't need to throw anybody today. That's fine. Yeah, but I mean, for like you with basketball or in the football guys, that kind of stuff, it's like no go. There's nothing.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least so you had surgery in the middle of this, so that was good timing to be distracted. But even your PT was kind of difficult because of the restrictions. But it gave you something physically outlet wise to do to get up and go and leave and do your thing. And I know you took it upon yourself to do those things and got real creative with your timing just to whether it fits some of the schedule or not. You just had to make a schedule to 1, get out of the house, 2, get off a screen, and 3, do something active. And I gotta think for your mental fitness that was huge.
Yeah, it's the only mental discipline I have at this point, especially being second semester seniors, where I've had great grades until now and I don't really care, but also I'm still going to do my school and I'm still going to have to do that. But my more mental thing is, okay, I have to come and work out because I know that's going to be good for me in so many different aspects. Yeah. Compared to just sitting at home.
Yeah.
Just getting away.
Yeah, getting away and getting active. And for you being post-op, like forced to not move for a couple of weeks, I know that was
6
way
weeks.
More miserable. So, yeah, but like no body weight, like you were down.
Yeah.
For a hot minute. And for you, I know that's more torture. I mean, in quarantine, you could at least, before the surgery, you were still working out and able to get around and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But then you're locked in and like really locked in. Like that's.
It's you think more about how blessed you are to like do certain things when you're like not able to stand for like 6 weeks. It's just you think back on it and you're like, wow.
Maybe I want to do the skier, or maybe I want to do a little workout,
it's like
at least I can.
Skier isn't that bad. I'll take
bad.
skier right now. It's terrible, I know.
We were actually going to rank those when we were talking about it.
Well, that's a perfect segue. I mean, but yeah, to the point of like both of you, at least, for different reasons, you got 10 plus hours a day locked down because your brain is too big and you have too many smart things to do and your brain's too big, but then your body wasn't cooperating, so then you got locked down basically in the same window of time where you both couldn't be physically active and starting to climb the walls. But now you're on the tail end of that. You've been pretty consistent with being able to stay mobile. What yes, the ski is terrible.
My shins still hurt.
Everything still hurts. But yeah, I mean, even the most terrible thing on the planet, the skier, for fitness conditioning, is still something you would willfully sign up for in lieu of sitting in front of that damn monitor again.
She'll just sit on the stool and ski erg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah.
I should have done that.
Well, right, but that outlet, that physical release, what does it do for you? I mean, mentally for one, but then obviously physically too, because your body, I mean, sitting that long and all day, you start to hurt. Like things hurt, your back hurt. I mean, especially you with your back, and you obviously with your knee, you just start to hurt. So what is it that it does for you guys mentally first, and then physically second? Because sound mind, sound body, right? That's the saying. So how does it impact you, and in what way as a teenage woman, if that's the right designation? If there's a different adjective there, I'm learning about the labeling stuff as much as I can keep up with, but it seems to change every other week. So whatever that identifier is, just tell me. But yeah, I mean, as a teenager, I think that's still safe.
Yes.
What does it do for you, for your headspace?
I think it's more than mental discipline at this point, because I could just give up on so many things at this point. I don't have to come in if I didn't want to. I mean, there's no one making me come in. I want to, because I know that once I get here, I'll be so much happier and I'll be able to like get away from my screen, get away from my house and how I'm trapped in there every single day. but it's more the fact that, okay, I need to go work out. And then when I get here, it's like, I'm so glad I did work out because it was a release from so many different things.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't really have to go run.
Right.
But I know that this is more enjoyable than running because I see people and I actually have physical activity that I sort of enjoy doing most of the time. And I get to see new people every day, and I don't have to go run by myself because when I run, there's no coach. It's just me.
Still in your head.
Because I haven't gone to like track practices because I don't want to.
Right.
So I'll run by myself, but there's no one keeping me accountable for that. Instead of having people here that I'm doing it with, someone telling me what the workout is, not me making it up myself.
Gotcha.
So it's more of a mental discipline because it's getting me away from everything, but also keeping me accountable for other things.
Keeping you grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
I totally agree with that. Like, an hour a day just to work out is like, and especially if you're having fun doing it, like, it's awesome. Like, it's nothing compared to just doing it at your house. It's like way less motivating. Having people around you to help you like do all these things is just so much better. So
yeah, especially because no one's keeping me accountable to run. Like, it's by myself, and whether or not I choose to believe I will have a track season or whether or not I feel like I need to run right at this point, I justify it by saying that I'm getting my shins healthier here because I'm just getting stronger here. So in the long run, it'll work out better. But there's only so much I can run, only so much that I believe that I'll have a track season, because I don't really need to be running, because it's not that I enjoy running as much as I enjoy here, because it's an hour a day where I can forget about whatever school I have, whatever I'm studying for, the mock trial stuff that's too much, my family, my house, everything with friends, everything with everything, because it's different people. It's people that I only see when I'm working out. Yeah,
and you're pushing yourself pretty hard, like to where you're physically... You're tired. I mean, you guys are tired when you come in, you know, just mentally. Physically, obviously, you could argue, because you've been sitting so long, it's like, you know, for the day, it's like, oh, you're totally reserved and ready to go. But people that don't do this on a regular basis, I mean, or do sit a ton on a regular, they realize, like, no, that fatigues you. Like, all that mental jujitsu during the day that you guys have to do for school and social media and everything else, that you know, it's like that's fatiguing. And then to get up and go do something physically hard by 4 o'clock, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, that's not an easy thing to do. And it's even when school was normal and your guys' schedule was normal, it's still, you know, I mean, obviously you got to go to school, you know, 8 to 4 or whatever, you know, 8 to 3, whatever it was. But then practices, you know, especially for lacrosse or basketball, you know, could go, you know, start at 7 p.m. It's like, that's a long freaking day. Like, and a tough one to like get into the headspace of like, let's go do something super physically active and somewhat combative at 8:30 p.m. at night, like after 12 hours plus in school and mentally locked in, plus the homework. I can't believe I even spaced on that. Like, your screen time is actually more, because all of your homework is on a screen. So you're 8 hours in class, quote unquote class, and then more homework on the computer. Like, I think that they'd give you assignments like everything has to be done in paper mache or something, so that like and then mailed.
I think the only thing I have to do is read 7 chapters for a book. That's the only thing that's not on a screen. All my math is on screens. It's on worksheets that we transfer into our notes app and just do on our iPads, or I do it on my iPads, and I have my iPad and my computer and my phone that I'm on all the time.
Well, for some of my classes, I just have to, like for math, I just had to go in the textbook and then put it on a piece of paper and then just take a picture of it. So I guess I'm not as much on the screen as you, but...
I try to do my actual homework on it, but my textbook is online. So looking at the screen to copy the problem down on my paper and then do it. So it's not like I'm completely getting away and there's nothing that I can do that's completely on paper.
And you're just stuck in that loop.
Yeah, there's no escape from it in any way, because everything, that's the only information they can give us. Usually we'd get paper handouts in class, but they can only send it to us virtually. That
makes it tough. I kind of think about that now as like also why the gym or working out, or you know, even if you did just strap your laces up and go for a run, it's like, it's the exact opposite of that. There's nothing digital about it. It's gravity and you know, equipment and weights and just super physical and just completely visceral. Not anything to do with digital other than wherever the workout's written.
Yeah,
right?
Besides the screen.
Or if you bring it with you or whatever. But I mean, just I would think that maybe a couple more hours a day of that and a couple less hours a day of Zoom would probably help you in a little bit better mental balance.
It's just something new being able to come here, because I don't see these people every day again. And we all have our own things that it's not, you can't bring in, I can rant to you two about something that's going on in my house, but also I like listening to what is going on to other people, because it's something you can share and not everyone's hearing it and not everyone's involved.
Right.
But also it's something that I don't actually have to do. Like, not a coach is keeping me accountable. I don't have to do it to run a meet or whatever. So it's like, I am doing this for my mental health, my physical health, but also I'm completing something. I'm getting something done that I don't need to. So it's like, okay, well, the rest of it sucks. I'm actually doing something for myself. So you can be proud of that.
Put your hands on the steering wheel, or at least another hand on the steering wheel of where you're going. I know. I mean, because both of you got a couple more bodies in your house, you know, on a regular basis. You know, Lane's older brother is obviously often running in college, but you know, you've had the privilege of your younger sister who's right behind you, and so it's, you know, not just driving her around, but driving you crazy, and vice versa. And then the parents and the things and all the stuff at the home, and then the surgery, and it's just like, and no basketball. I mean, and for you, living, breathing, eating
sports,
round ball and sports, you know, I gotta think that for
the last like 10 years of my life, like it's just weird to stop, you know?
Yeah, all stop, right?
Yeah.
And you know, your knee moving down the line. I mean, your fitness basis, I mean, because you've always trained hard because you want to play better, right? I mean, that's always, and I'm not to put words in your mouth, this is just describing what you've said multiple times. Is just that, like, the more you train in the gym or in the outside setting or whatever, is the more fun the games are because you're fit, you're in shape. Yeah. So that discipline, I gotta think, is helping with getting through. I mean, this is a different kind of suck with all the stuff not being open. But I got to think that the discipline, I mean, same with basketball, it's like running 16s, right? Or, you know, football guys run gassers or, you know, sprints and the stuff that makes you want to throw up. And it's like, yeah, but you do that so you can play better.
Yeah.
And that's all we do.
Yeah. I mean, that's
that's what my sport is.
You do that for fun.
Yeah, track, weird, run.
I wouldn't call that fun.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call it fun either. But, you know, with the shared suffrage kind of side, it's like, at least, you know, when you, and, you know, to your point coming in, you've got things going on at your house that are very similar to what's going on at her house, but it's different. And it's nice. I got to think it's nice to hear, like, oh, Emily's going through the same kind of crap that I am. It's a little bit different delivery mechanism just because the people are different, but it's still kind of the same experience. And so, at least for me, and talking with some other, you know, even friends of mine, it's like, hey, I'm feeling like this, blah, 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 blah. They're like, oh, I am too, but it's coming at me this way. So it's like the same kind of input, just a little bit different delivery mechanism. It's like, okay, cool. I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not actually losing my mind like it, you know, seems like sometimes. I got to think that that's helpful just to balance out and kind of flush all that crap when you get done with whatever you're doing fitness wise. Because I mean, like running, Deanna said this a few weeks ago, you know, because she likes to go running by herself and get in that kind of neutral headspace.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know the type of personality where that doesn't work for me. Like, the more I'm alone, the more this thing starts going, and it's like it just gets louder, and that's not a good thing. Like, that's not fun. Yeah. And I know you well enough to know that you're constantly on, you know, go.
Yeah.
I would think running isolated would not be the most enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't know many runners who like running, but I mean, if you're a distance runner, you kind of have to like it a little bit more. Yeah. But with sprinting, it's easier because I have to run 200 meters and then it's over. It's only 200 meters, but it's also, you have to get it done. You have to get it done because it's all, and then you're done, and then walk around the track, do it again. Yeah. But when I'm going to run it like Oswego, it's okay, I have to do this. It's not, I want to go run because I don't like running distance. I'm not my mother, and I just
really
no.
So weird.
She really likes it, and she can run marathons, and that's great for her. But if I'm running, I don't have anything in front of me to realize, oh, I have to go lift this weight, or I'm deadlifting this, and I can't think about things that are wrong if I'm deadlifting right now. But when I'm running, I'm just running around a circle. All my fitness watches when I run, it's just it tracks me. It's just in a circle. It's like, that's all I do is keep running in circles. But when I'm running my workouts, it's okay, I just have to get this finished. At this point, it's I come in here, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm not making it up. But also there's Emily, and like what you were saying about how her life is similar but also not. She's not my friend that I talk to every single day all the time, and she's not the one that I might like my two best friends who I just text all the time. Right. And we have like certain similar things, but also we can compare our lives in certain ways, and it's just a refresher because whenever we started our friendship last summer, and now it's just I can come in here and I can work out if it's just me and all the guys, but it's more fun when I have her because then I have a close friend who I'm working out with.
Right. Yeah.
But also I don't talk to you every day, and like our lives are like separate enough that we can talk about it and not have it be like constant. Yeah. But also we can just focus on working out and be completely fine.
Yeah. Beautiful thing.
Fist bumps all around. Well, and I mean, there's something to be said for and that level of friendship and then also shared experience where it's like you don't have to hyper articulate every single moment, right? You guys don't have to text 5,000 times a day to have the same level of relationship that you do. And kind of the still waters run deep thing, right? It's like, yeah, super shallow water makes a lot of noise and it's constant and it's super fast and all this kind of stuff, but then at the same time it's not very deep and it doesn't go very far because it bottoms out, right? You guys, and this happens a lot as you get older, but you guys are kind of ahead of the curve where it's, my best friend in the world, I haven't physically seen him in 5 years because he's in the Air Force, and it's like, oh yeah, and it just like the deployment cycle and everything. It's like, FaceTime a couple times, on my birthday, he sent me video and that kind of stuff, and we text and stuff like that. But it's like we can go 3 months and haven't seen anything, but literally if it's like the next day, it's like nothing has changed and everything is, it's the same in a good way, not a bad way, but it's like, yeah, I've got the instant ability to flip that switch when we have the time to be together, and that's awesome, and you guys are just because usually that happens like after college because everybody gets real world lives, and it's like sometimes it's marriage and babies and sometimes it's work and sometimes it's occupation that takes you across. You guys are going to have that big split here coming up geographically because wherever you end up going to college could be opposite sides.
Probably the same.
Could be the same state though.
Could be the same state.
Could be the
Yeah,
same
see, that's
state.
exciting, right? And so it's like, but usually that kind of like ability to acknowledge that existence of deeper friendship doesn't happen until you're older, because high school's so, I don't mean to be mean about this, but high school relationships historically are kind of shallow and tend to be temperamental, right? Because everybody's changing through stuff and figuring shit out, and then all of a sudden they leave for college. It's like, oh, right, I really don't want to be back in high school again. And so a lot of those friendships don't, some do, obviously, the good ones. But you guys are just so far ahead of that curve. And maybe it's because you're the, you're pseudo middle child because you got 4 total. But, maybe it's the middle child thing of just like, okay, I've seen how my older siblings have gone through this and they screwed all that up, so I'm going to do it better than them.
I just think it's nice because, like you said, we could go weeks without seeing each other, or we went whenever you were going through your PT and all that stuff. We didn't see each other for months, but we're like, we don't need to text every day. The only time we text every time is, are we going to make this TikTok for the group? Are we going to do it? Or what are we going to talk about for the podcast or whatever it is? Or what's the workout you did yesterday? Do I want to come in? Or do I not want to come in? But we can see each other, like we just see each other here, which is super nice because we are also pretty similar with student government type of stuff. And we're very similar but very different, I think, which is nice. And also like seeing Jackson and Hunter, like they didn't go to school together.
No.
They didn't go to school together, no?
Not at all.
No. So they didn't go to school together, but they can all come home from college and be really close here because
instantly.
Yeah, it's something about the gym. It's just like we had no idea who each other were before we came in here, and we've liked the girls who have come through here, but there's not as many. It's not like the guys. It's not like Hunter, Jackson, Ryan and Asher because they've been here for years, and we were newer, but we're also the minis of them, and so we tried to do it, but we try to do it better because we do everything they do but better. Well,
because everybody knows that you guys are better, and they know that you're better 100%. Too.
They do. 100%. Whether or not they want to admit it, but also I count you as a middle child because I've never met your older sister, so I think it's something about middle child and having a younger sibling who is a little annoying. Not that I'm saying that about Elle, I'm saying that about Heath. We both talked about how the younger child can be annoying, but also like, I don't know when you and Hunter started being friends, but Jackson and I started being friends junior year because he hated me. Yeah. And I was told by family friends, he'll hate you until your junior year. And then we became super close. And then he went to college. Yeah. So then now we drive together to workouts when he's home. And we like working out together. But also he has Hunter and Ryan when he's here. And I have Emily. And so we can all hang out as siblings, which is nice without the younger child. And like be completely fine.
Yeah. Hunter and I started becoming like really friends when I was a freshman and he was a senior. And we would like see each other each day. Because we'd never been in like the same school at the same time.
Right, the building, yeah.
Yeah, because it was 4 years. So it's just gotten better and better each year. So I hope that can happen with Ella. But I mean, she'll keep growing and all that stuff. But
is Hunter a year older than Jackson?
Hunter is one class ahead of.
Okay, I was gonna say because Jackson is 2 grades ahead of me, and we were also still never in the same school because we didn't go to the same school, which I think also helped because probably. Not being Jackson's younger sister at like Oswego probably would have been nice.
It probably would have been. It probably made things a little bit easier. The other thing too that the unfortunate part is that both of your closest older siblings are boys, and boys are slow. and they take a little bit longer to kind of ripen on the vine. And, that brain sometimes is a little bit, well, shit, I'm 40 and it's still going. But it's like, I see that all the time. It's, to the point of like, you guys click pretty quick and you guys are far further down the line of maturity than they are. They've gotten so much better, but your relationship's gotten better because they've kind of figured themselves out a little bit. And it's like, oh, right, to the moose, like, you don't need to be a total asshat to his sister. And it's like, oh, she's actually kind of cool. She's not just the annoying little sister,
Yeah, well, I probably was annoying for a few years because I really wanted to be friends.
Same.
Yeah.
I know I really wanted to be friends, and he hated me, so it made me want to be friends even more. But now that we are friends, we talk all the time now, and it's...
Well, you have a combined enemy in the youngest brother.
Enemies, maybe.
Poor baby Heath.
Which, like you said, so Ella's a year behind you. A year, 2 years?
2 years.
2 years behind you, and Heath's 6 years younger than me.
Heath's...
Wait.
Yeah.
Something like that.
He's 11. Yeah.
Yeah, because me and Jackson are 3 and me and Heath are 6, so we have nothing in common.
It'll take a hot minute for that to catch up.
Yeah. And he's the only person... I'll be almost out of college by the time he's graduated high school.
Right.
So there's just too much age, and it's more similar now because it's high school and grade school, and I went through his grade school.
He's also getting older.
He is.
Which is helping.
I just always found him annoying because he tried to be 16 like Jackson when Jackson was, and he grew up around all those...
He idolizes those guys.
Right, and obviously I did too because Jackson had these great friends or whatever, and I'm like close with Jackson's friends now, but I can imagine how I was the annoying younger sister. But he's just so much younger than us that it's hard to relate anything, and also I feel bad for him because when he's home, if I'm pissed off at something, I'm gonna get mad at Heath, even if it's not his fault. But if he walks in my way or if he like doesn't do something, I'm your fault. Now everything's on you. Now I'm going to yell at you, even though you only did one little thing, and I'm pissed off at losing my senior year and everything's going on, and now it's all your fault, Heath. Right. So I'm sorry, but
so Heath, this is a public apology.
I'm sorry. I don't think I'll ever say that again, but
no, but it's okay because we recorded it, so it's perfect. He can just play it on a loop when he starts. It's like, oh no, Lane is sorry. Lane's sorry.
I think sorry. I don't know. He probably has to dream that to himself at night that Jackson apologized to him. But Jackson is more physical and mine's a little bit more mental to him.
Yeah, it's a combined effort with you two. It's full on warfare.
Now we have a common enemy. But when Jackson's home, it's nice, and I think it'll take a while for me and Heath to become friends, just because I had to wait so long with Jackson, and I resent Jackson a little bit for that. So Heath has double that time to make it up. But I don't know. At some point, maybe we'll be friends with him. But for now.
The sarcasm translates really well over audio only, by the way.
But also, he has learned that now if I'm mean to him, he'll be mean to me back or annoying to me back, because now he knows how to, and he knows what pisses me off more. So now it's worse because I used to be like, oh, you're annoying, so I'm gonna be mean to you, and I can justify being a little bit mean to you if you're super annoying, or like you know that you do something annoying, and now he knows he's annoying and he knows how to talk back to me. So now it's just worse. And now my mom's like, can you guys please stop? No, Jackson's not here, so it's gonna be mental because we don't have the physical part of it right now.
Wonderful skill set to have developed in your younger brother. I'm so, and you and Hunter, like, you guys are considerably closer than I think any of the other siblings within your family with each other. Like, it's...
Yeah, but I've also gotten really close with my older sister.
Yeah.
And she's like 22. She's going to turn 22 this year. So, but we got a pretty close relationship. Whenever she comes home from Montana, we just like watch shows together, do like super...
Yeah, it's kind of like you two guys. Like, you figured out with her that the volume and the total amount of touch time, just in a sense of like, doesn't need to be constant to be quality, right? You got to keep doing it, and that breeds a deeper, stronger relationship, And now that Hunter's gone, when he's back, I know you guys are pretty tight because it's like he finally left, and the house is a lot quieter. I know that much.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but I mean, those guys in particular, it's the same thing. Like, they text, and they're all kind of, I mean, other than Kai and Ryan, who were at school together, but like they're all in different corners, and it's they still stay in touch, and they've got their close buddies like where they're at school, but like when they come back, it's like instant. It's kind of the funny thing about the like the fitness campfire, right? It's like, hey, cool, we're all gonna go out on our little trail today, but by the end of the night or the end of the day, we're back around the campfire, and hey, what'd you see? I saw a squirrel. What'd you see? I saw a chipmunk. And it's like that would be them, by the way.
That's probably how their conversations go.
That probably is like, I saw this freaking massive squirrel, bro. He was so big, he had like 8 nuts in his mouth. It was amazing. Like that, but I mean, they come back to the campfire at the end of the day, and that's kind of where you guys are at with your relationship already in high school, is like, 2-3 weeks of downtime or 6 weeks of downtime, not at the gym, but then the campfire here or in this type of activity, whether it was here or anywhere else, if you're like, hey, you want to go work out? Sure. Yeah. Okay. And that's kind of, you can take that with you, which is pretty awesome. I think. I mean, that's, the old guy looking at the two people who still haven't made it out of high school yet.
We're trying really hard at this point. We're working really hard.
This is my third quarter is like the hardest one because I've got APs, Spanish, all that stuff. And then fourth quarter is like ceramics and yoga and math.
My AP is carryover. I don't get that option. No, I don't get to take yoga.
I'll be curious how your grades do on the easier classes, because I know at least on the fitness side for both of you and the sports side, when the challenge is harder, you try, you're pretty locked in, but when things get a little easy, sometimes it's like, it's easy to kind of throttle back, right?
Yeah.
You're a little more like me, where it's a little more obsessive compulsive about, it doesn't matter what the class is, the grade everything has to be perfect. Mm-hmm. It's interesting how that happens though, like, and you see it a lot with the kids that have fall sports, super good grades, but no winter sport, no spring sport, grades take a dive, right? And it's a little mental fatigue because of, especially with like something like football, where you're like, cool, 3:00 film, 5:00 practice, go to 7, then team meetings till 8, right? And it just physically beats you up and mentally beats you up. But then when that structure's gone, all of a sudden it's just like, and the grades plummet.
Yeah.
Right, because they're held to their own standard, which to your point is, you've got the mental fitness to say, I need to stay disciplined in this side because it makes you better at everything else. And so no, nobody's telling you have to work out. Nobody's telling you have to go run. You don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. But you don't have to do it, and you're doing it because the discipline will give you, one, a positive outcome on the backside, which is like, hey, I feel better, right?
Yeah.
Which is the internal, like, I feel better. And then the second side of that is, being fit and being healthy is a good place to be. Same with your knee surgery. It's like, you didn't have to have it.
Yeah.
You 50-50 shot. It's not great odds, but you took the shot because it's like, okay, let's see if we can get it. And if it works, it'll be great. If it doesn't work, we'll figure something else out, but you didn't have to do it, but you wanted to because you knew what the back end might, potentially work out to be. And that's something that's hard to translate to little guys, or little kids, especially somebody like Heath. Like right now, Heath doesn't see the value of the grind necessarily because he's only 11, and he shouldn't. It should be like rainbows and unicorns and, like, hey, this is all good times and let's go play and do all the fun things. And without the ability to kind of get that love of the activity because they've had so much downtime, I'm curious how that's going to work out because, a year off maybe probably won't be the biggest thing long term, hopefully. But, if it stretches longer, it's like, how long can little people go without getting a chance to go back?
Well, and they don't need to go to the gym and work out because they're playing 5 sports a year.
Right. Yeah.
Because they always just go. And like, they don't know because they're not out of shape because they're constantly playing a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any of those now. And like, he's trying to play basketball, but at some point they're not doing anything. And so it's even more hurtful that it's not, I have one thing that's missing. It's I have all of them missing.
Yeah. It's not the one, it's the every.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how track being in the spring correlates with my grades and how I work in the first 2 seasons or whatever, but I mean, I'm start working in the winter, but in fall I have nothing to focus on at all.
Right.
Because I start training in, I guess the fall now, but I haven't trained and it's preseason now, and I don't feel like it because
you've been in preseason since last April.
I've been in preseason. I trained, and then the first week of practice we got sat on the bleachers, all of us spaced apart, and they go, so actually we're postponing track. What do you mean you're postponing track? This is the one sport you should be able to do. And I was like, okay, so I get how tennis you should be able to play. You're all the way across the court.
Yeah.
Lacrosse shouldn't be able to play, maybe, compared to the contact sports of track.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm touching as someone else is the baton, and that's my team.
If we do that, yeah.
If we are allowed to do that, which...
And I'm not licking the baton. I'm just handing it off.
I can literally wash my hands straight after that.
Yeah, and I think it'd be easy to do that, but at some point, I have no faith that we can go back unless they somehow pull it out and say that we're allowed to run.
Yeah.
But also, if there's nothing else going, we haven't seen any sport workouts so far.
Right.
And if they keep failing with other sports, then I don't know how they're
or not trying.
I don't know how they're gonna hold up the easy one.
Yeah.
Which should be
for basketball. I mean, wave the magic wand, your knee doesn't, get sliced and diced, and you're probably sitting here just like, I gotta think you're not buying the basketball because it's indoors, right? Like everything indoors is pretty much at a certain number of people.
You're putting yourself at a big risk by just
comparatively, yeah, versus being outside for track. But how do you guys? So I mean, all the conversations, at least publicly, and the loudest people speaking in the room seem to be adults, and I'm using adults again, air quotes, with or parents of kids. But not a lot of the kids have had a platform to say, you know, hey, and I got to think that, to your point of like last April and hey, we're going to, oh yeah, actually, funny story, we're not going to do this, or hey, we're going to wait 2 weeks. Oh, we got to wait 2 more weeks. We got to wait 2 more weeks. I got to think you're kind of not really buying the message anymore, and you're kind of not really going to buy much anything that they're going to tell you, because it's constantly been pushing the goalpost back as opposed to being straight up and honest in the beginning and saying, we don't know what the hell's going on. We don't know how the hell to deal with it, and we got to shut everything down until we figure it out. But I mean, you tell me, because you guys are the ones that are impacted most by almost all of this whole shutdown long term, and then the kids, you know, beneath you, age wise, not like, you know, social stature wise. How does that message? I mean, is it just mute now? Do you guys just not even pay attention, not even care?
At least speaking for myself, I don't believe anything at this point. I mean, they told us that Friday in March, we'll see you after spring break. How are you going to see us after spring break? We're going to go places if we are, and then you're going to bring us back. Right. Logistically, I think we knew internally that we weren't going to. I made a joke and I posted something on my Snapchat story of my friend and I in last period math. I go, oh, Elise's last day of high school. That was Elise's last day of high school. And man, we didn't know it yet. And I made the joke and everyone's like, oh, don't say that, don't say that. And then they didn't go back to school. And I haven't seen a classroom in 11 months or whatever. And with sports, it's, oh, we'll try and do this, we'll try and do this. And track got canceled. And then, oh, we'll try and bring you back in the spring. Oh, actually, we're not going to bring you back, but here's this whole virtual thing. And then they told us we could go back hybrid, and then they didn't. And then a few weeks ago, they told us we were going back, and then, oh, just kidding, we can't go back. And so now I'm supposed to go back in 2 days, and I'll believe it when I'm walking into school.
When you're walking in the doors.
I'll believe it when I'm getting out of my car in Cronin.
Yeah, until there's like a set date, until they're like, actually, you can come in like
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is I'm supposed to go back in 2 days, and I'll believe it in 2 days. Like,
yeah, when I'm there, and yeah.
If you could wave a magic wand, you can't undo what happened, like with as far as like the actual pandemic and whatever, you know, bat or whatever did whatever it did, you know, that started the whole thing. But if you could wave a magic wand on the messaging side, or at least the articulations, the same scenario. You can't just make things magically fixed. But what would you have said, or what would you have preferred as far as just the transparency side? You know, I mean, is it what we had? Is it something the opposite side? Is it somewhere in the middle? I mean, what would have worked? What do you guys think would have worked better? What would you have preferred to hear, I guess?
Being transparent 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I have teachers who are transparent, and one of the teachers who I'm closest with who is not admin, but they run a lot of stuff and they run all the activities that we do. He'll tell it how it is. He's like, I don't think we're going back in the spring. And then we didn't go back in the spring. And now at this point, I'm like, screw you. Everything you're doing, everything you're saying is happening. So why don't you stop saying that we're not going back to school? But all they tell us is we don't know. Because it's not like, at some point I have to believe that they want us to be back in school and they're trying to get us back in school. But they don't know. We don't know. We want to be back in school. They probably want us back in school, but they can't really promise us anything. And I'm just tired of hearing promises. I'm tired of, I'd rather, at this point, I have no hope. I'm supposed to go back in 2 days. But before that, I would have said I have no expectations to go back to school. But I do expect more pity, because
little grace.
It would be nice, because looking at what the 2020 seniors had, versus everyone's like, oh, poor seniors.
Right.
And we lost. At this point, we're equal with them. We've lost
probably more.
Yeah, we know, because we've lost the first half.
Yeah, you've lost a year and a half.
So
they got like half.
Almost about now.
Yeah.
They were almost gone.
3/4.
February, March. Yeah. So it's almost a year, and so they would have lost the spring. But they had all the first part of it.
Right.
Which, if you're saying the superficial stuff, oh, you had football season and dances and stuff. You had homecoming, you had dances. Maybe had a fall sport even. Right. Fall sports happened. Winter sports almost finished. Except for championships and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the championship. But
it was like the champion. Yeah,
you guys were into like quarterfinals almost, or semis maybe, and they suspended it. Yeah.
They went to trials.
Yeah.
And then we came home, we're like, why are the basketball boys home? Because in the morning they go, oh, we had a bus. We were going to send you there. How are you going to send us to watch a championship? They go, oh, it's actually parents only. Yeah. Actually, it's only officials and players.
And by like noon of that last day, it was like, no more games. Yeah.
They go, and I saw the basketball coach. I go, what are you guys doing here? They go, the boys are all gone. Like, they're gone. Which is so sad, because they were so close. Yeah. But at this point, we've lost more than they have, because we lost the majority of our year compared to just the spring.
Yeah.
And now we'll probably lose the spring too.
Probably a good bet. I mean, it's, you know, and I'm not always the most popular person with parents, because I don't, in general, lie to kids. You know, Is Santa real? Yes. On the record, Santa Claus is real. So is the Tooth Fairy, because my daughter listens to the show.
Hi, Gabby.
But it's also, I mean, in that respect, yeah, that's a lie. You know, there are certain things. It's like you don't need to blow the cover off of everything, but you also don't need to blow smoke up anybody's tailpipe either. Of like, we're just going to hold you on the tether here for 2 more. You know, it's like, and we've talked about this. It's like,
just tell the truth.
You might not like you might not like the answer, but the answer is the answer. You know, and that's the one thing that's like, you know, on the gym setting side, the fitness side, it's like, hey, if you can't pick up a weight, you can't do it. There's no like, oh, well, I'm going to help you, or the bro spot on the bench press where it's like, you bro, you know, the guy's picking it off his chest. Like that ain't how it works. It's like you either do it or you don't, right? And so it's super linear. Mm-hmm. You know, the way you guys are built to think and to function, you two specifically, is A, B, C. This happens, that happens, this is the result. And when you start getting squishy with the messaging and not honest and not transparent, I don't want to say they lied, because I do think that a lot of people were hoping, fingers crossed, wishing on a shooting star that things would happen in 2 weeks and it'll be better. And yeah, some people were willfully ignorant and didn't want to believe the reality. And you know, so now on the tail end of this, you know, here we are. You're supposed to start in like a month of in-person, right?
Oh yeah,
in
like
March.
May. I thought it was May.
It's pretty close, you know, and then you know, theoretically you start in 2 weeks, but then 2 days. Sorry, 2 days. But then
you start in 2 days.
I'm supposed to go on Tuesday.
In theory.
That's why I said I'll believe it. I'll believe it in 2 days.
Can I go with you? Can I just be your
Please,
buddy? Can I
please.
get it? Yeah, please. But yeah, I mean, to your point, it's like, yeah, a little more, whether it's pity or grace or leeway, or just like, hey, give me a chance to, like, if I lose my absolute shit, Heath, she did apologize officially on, it's not you, brother. It's partly you, but it's the straw that broke the back, right? It's like, it's not any one thing. It's all the things compounding, and it's exponential weight that you guys are carrying. And I you know, people talk about the World War II vets and the toughest generation, right? I mean, they did it. They did everything we needed to have happen to be sitting where we're sitting today, right? Mm-hmm. That took a level of mental fortitude, physical fortitude, sacrifice that nobody had ever seen. I mean, there's never been anything bigger, right? In a weird way, this is your guys' shot at becoming that next greatest generation, because I don't think anybody can really quantify the psychological impact that this has, or is going to have, no matter what any quote-unquote adult wants to say. Because you guys, it's pretty rough. I mean, it's not easy, you know, and I got to think it's every grade level down that has less opportunity for mobility, i.e. they're not old enough to drive, you know, right. Down, you know, Heath, Gabby, and lower. Yeah. It's going to be that much harder, right? Because it just keeps compounding. They can't get out. I mean, and people throw the term around like, you know, it feels like prison and that kind of thing. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it does for some people. You know, there's probably not such, I mean, because all things aside, as much as you guys, you know, might not fully appreciate your parents' input 24/7, you at least both have both parents home, right? And there's a lot of opportunity there for you to have mentorship and learn lessons. Maybe it's learning what you don't want to do, right? But at least it's, you know, stable, right? I mean, you know what you're going to get when you walk in the door, and a lot of kids don't have that, and that's the hard part for this whole thing, is that outlet traditionally has been, I mean, the best way to keep kids in class, keep kids engaged, and keep kids graduating in more impoverished areas, and you've been to some of them too. I mean, is through sports. I mean, your whole volunteer program down in Dominican Republic, right? You built courts. You built courts for kids to play sports. You were flown to a different continent on the other side of the hemisphere to volunteer to do work to build sport courts for kids. So if that's not an affirmation of how important physical activity is and fitness for mental well-being, mm-hmm. as well as academic well-being, I don't know what else is. I mean, you literally flew to the other side of the planet to go build courts
and bring the town together, and everyone was there when we did it. Every single person was helping us, because that's all they wanted, and they were supposed to have it done 5 years ago, and no one ever finished it, right? And so we were just there to help, because we had the resources to get the dirt, and we had the resources to fly in the sand that we needed to finish it, because that's all the town wanted was a court so they could be together, and so the kids could play sports. And it was a multi-purpose sports court, so there was an emphasis on girl sports, right? And how they could play sports and be allowed to play in their little leagues that they make and stuff. But I don't know, it was all they wanted.
Yeah, and the impact that's had in just that one little spot, which obviously that program carries into others. It's not an accident that there's a direct correlation between physical well-being and physical exertion and mental well-being, mental fitness. You call it IQ, academic. I mean, you get smarter the more active you are. Healthy mind, healthy body, right? I mean, it's the same thing. And I that's what's so frustrating personally for me with all this, is that there's been zero emphasis placed on, okay, if that program is so important that they'll fly a bunch of kids and volunteers from Oregon to the other side of the planet, and not a very safe country. I mean, there, you guys had your whole security briefings and stuff, and it's not exactly the best place in the world. If it's so important to do that for that level of social structure, how is it that you guys getting back, forget in person? I could deal with the Zoom call stuff with academic side, but the fitness side, the sports side, the athletic side, if it's so important to send you to the other side of the planet for, how is it not important to send you to the other side of the frickin' neighborhood street, or city for, or an outdoor field, right? I mean, how can they not put two and two together? That part to me baffles me.
Yeah, and it's just upsetting. I don't know, at least for me, they can't make any promises about what I get now and what I get in high school. And I've thought about graduating early. If I wasn't so involved in my school, and if I didn't love my school this much, I think I could consider graduating early. I think I could. If I transferred to Lake Oswego, I could graduate right now. So do I want to stay, and do I want to hope that we have a graduation, or that we hope we get senior celebrations and all of that? Yeah. And I want to stay for that because I love my friends and I love my school.
Right.
But at this point, I'm just looking forward. Yeah. Because I want to know I'm going to college, and I want to know that I'm getting out of here and moving on and getting somewhere. Yeah, because
the future.
At this point, I don't know where we're going, because they can't give us anything more for high school. We're almost done.
Right.
It's not like we have another year. It's like, oh, we promise we'll make it up, or we're going to give you more next year. We're hoping we'll have football games, and we're hoping we'll have dances, and we're hoping we can introduce the freshmen to the school, and we'll show the sophomores that people care about them, and everything for each grade that we work on for student government. They can't promise us anything anymore, because we're almost done, and after that we're gone.
Right.
So they can't give us any more, and so now we're just looking for the new more. We're looking for ways to restart, and like try and make it somewhere else. At least for me.
No, I'm not.
We're looking forward. I think Em and I are both looking forward.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I know for sure, after basketball ended last year, and then kind of knowing that your knee was not doing so well. You were kind of ready
worse.
to make, it was getting worse to the point of, and we had this conversation. I know that I wasn't the most popular person in your house at the time, but I have a little bit of history with knee stuff. And, I think I told you, it's like, hey, you got to start getting your head wrapped around no more basketball. Right. I mean, and then what? Right. What's next? Because everybody at some point is a former athlete, right?
Yep.
I mean, everybody, and yours is probably not over. It's going to pivot, no pun intended, with basketball, One dad joke, sorry. But I mean, it's, you're going to have to make a pivot, because you're not going to not be physically engaged with something. I mean, I know you. You're too.
I want to be.
I
want to do something. Yes.
Yeah. So with, again, to the presumption that school is going to be nothing or whatever, taking that set of keys of the car, the steering wheel, where are you going to take yourself if provided the opportunity moving forward, knowing what you know and seeing what you've seen with what's been, the last 11, 12 months?
Yeah. I'm pretty much just looking forward to college, and I know there's I'm not going to be able to play basketball. That's pretty much 100% certain. So yeah, just focusing on the school, and of course I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna try to work out every day when I'm there, because I gotta do something. I'm kind of that. I want to work hard in something and see results and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to focus on school, and next year obviously
keep pushing down.
I'm still gonna focus on school this year, but
yoga and ceramics.
Woo!
Hey, I got the AP quarter right now, so it's kind of hard.
I'm gonna get bendy and make a bowl.
Yes.
Your AP quarter.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, that's it. I mean, that's where the foundation that you and I know your parents too. I mean, they're your dad especially is big on sports, big on discipline, and athletic discipline, learning fundamentals, and the fundamentals you guys have built in your sports, your house, in the gym. That's helping you right now. Whether you can, and you guys both do a pretty good job articulating that. a lot of people have a hard time. They don't see the correlation. They're like, I don't get, like Heath is 11. He's not going to see the correlation of like, oh, I've been to practice every day and we never played a game. Yeah, but buddy, that's life sometimes. Like that's called a job, and you kind of got to grind, and you don't quite get to have a fun game every single week. Especially if you're a small business owner, it's like you might have a win every 18 months. But the 17 leading up to that is what got you there.
Yeah, just keep working hard.
Yeah. And I think that's a big takeaway from all of this, is that you just can't quit, right? You got to, I mean, even your last basketball season, your guys' team, you had injuries, you had a lot of stuff going on, you had a lot of potential in the front end of the season, and then just things happened, and it wasn't where everybody thought it was going to go. Yeah. But you didn't quit. It's like, no, you write it out and then you keep going, right?
Like a majority of our team is seniors now. Yeah. So when we were juniors, like majority of the team was us, so we had to like kind of be the factor, like the oomph factor. Right. So yeah,
just keep it rolling.
There had to be a leader. There had to be there's always going to be consistency. We need consistency as much as possible. Right. So
well, and to the point of like, consistency has not been something you've had, other than the messaging has not been great. But the consistent thing that you have control of is what you do. And you guys both chose to keep engaged with fitness and movement and still going, because you can control it. You can pick up and go run. Even post-op, you were still sitting there doing, PT and exercises and just keep moving. Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing. Yeah. So. And I know, speaking of movement, because you guys had all your little pre-pod game planning, you have a couple things that you brought to the table. I'm very curious to hear what those are.
We have a few things we brought to the table.
Fire away. I feel like we've gotten all the heavy stuff out of the way, and we can have a little bit of fun here on the back.
Well, we did decide we wanted to talk about senior year and sort of colleges. Good. We also had the ideas of zoos, Disney movies, Disney soundtracks, dogs, and ranking the ergs.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll finish with the ergs.
Yeah.
We'll finish with the ergs. Okay. So Disney movies.
Old Disney movies.
Old Disney. Define
like,
old.
Yeah.
Is Moana old now?
That's like in the middle though, because
wasn't that like 2018?
Well, I don't mean old. I mean the ones that we would watch when we were Gabby's age, or like the ones that we
like Nemo and like
Nemo.
Yeah, and I mean the ones that we try and play occasionally here and get yelled at, but High School Musical and like those types of.
So fantastic.
What about the first Mamma Mia? That's not a Disney movie, but it's
we're talking about Disney. Is Emily?
Sorry, that movie's
bring it back.
Too good.
Bring it back, Emily. Camp Rock.
Oh, yep.
Disney movies, and then you can also rank within the Camp Rocks. 1 and 2.
2.
Camp Rock.
Okay, so Desert Island. Okay, Desert Island. You can take one of your Disney movies with you. Which one?
Honorable mention, Lemonade Mouth.
Oh, that's actually so good.
Such a good movie. I'm getting a list up.
I'd probably bring Up.
Up?
Oh, that's my favorite movie of all time.
That's a good poll.
Emily likes Up.
Okay, and why? For anybody who hasn't seen Up.
Because just the story behind it,
there's
like
so
the
many
beginning.
Levels.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it gets it's
it
difficult.
Gets me right in the heart.
It gets you right in the heart.
Right in the beginning.
Yeah, and then the end is uplifting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, and things aren't always positive in that movie. And that movie's there's sad
it's
points
sad
in
at the
that.
beginning.
It's tough. I mean, it's a good parallel to what we're going through right now. Like, eventually though, you get up. That's a good call. I like that. Okay.
I also like Nemo.
Nemo. Oh. So is Nemo your movie?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Definitely.
I really appreciate the High School Musical movies. Those were always my favorite.
Okay.
Camp Rock comes secondary to High School Musical, but
okay.
What's your favorite?
So the High School Musical, we'll call it the anthology. Is that your Desert Island pick?
I can't choose for you.
Okay, well, I didn't ask you to choose for me. I like the second one best. What's your favorite High School Musical movie?
Is that when they're in Palm Springs or whatever?
Palm Springs? I don't know where they are, but yeah.
It's like the
golf
summer
course. One. It's the summer one.
Yeah, that one's really good.
So High School Musical 2 or High School Musical Sunny Edition.
What would we call this era of music?
And why?
I like the second one because right now I can't watch the third one because it's about graduation.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And that's a little depressing. It's a little depressing. The first one's but if you look at like the actual plot, it makes no sense. Mm-hmm. Like the musical they were trying to there's like a thing that puts together the musical and it was called like Twinkletown. It had a moon. Nothing else of it makes sense. It had a ladder. You can actually put it together. The first one's fine, but I think the second one, the characters really develop, and I like the summer plot. The plot makes sense.
Okay.
The characters are just really good, and also that the fact that they still carry on like the franchise now.
Okay.
And I just like all the actresses and actors in it. But
so
I need a minute. I need a minute to
okay,
get a list up.
We'll go back to that one. Okay, so Desert Island, Disney soundtrack.
Moana was pretty good.
Moana's
but
pretty good.
I mean,
pretty
like,
good.
that's not what I would choose though.
Okay.
Probably Frozen 2.
Yeah.
It's
good pull.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah. It's got all.
It doesn't get better than that.
No, I mean the first one was awesome. Second one, I mean, I'm picking that up. It's pretty tough. That'd be tough. I don't know. Moana makes me laugh. Like just when the rock starts going off, like it's just, you're welcome. Like I literally like every time I say you're welcome to somebody, like in my mind is like you're welcome. And I laugh to myself and they look at me like I'm an idiot, but that's normal. But yeah, that's a good poll.
There's something to say about High School Musical, or about Hannah Montana too.
Ooh,
There's something to say about Hannah Montana.
The movie though.
That's like, that's like going back greatest hits, like pre Miley Cyrus now.
That's that's the era that I mean. I just need a list of like those movies.
That's good stuff.
Super underrated song in that movie is Butterflies. Or like
Butterfly Fly Away.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's super underrated.
What is that era called? Like what would that?
The 2000s, the aughts. Kind of, but they
was
call
it in like 2007 or something?
Well, that's what I mean. I want to find like the camp rock type Halloween Town. That's a good movie.
Isn't that in Oregon?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Camp rock
with the like humongous pumpkin in the middle of the town,
that
right?
Might be.
Yeah. That's in Oregon.
I think that is. Yeah, I think that was.
Do you know it's also in Oregon? Where they filmed
Oregonians?
Twilight.
No. Oh, Twilight, yeah.
They filmed the Twilight house.
Yeah,
it's up by my friend's house.
There and then Canada too.
Oh yeah, in
Victoria,
BC.
Up in your OG neck of the woods, our honorary Canadian who's south of the wall.
Yep.
Aren't you not actually Canadian? Though?
I've been there so many times that I might as well just be Canadian.
A Canuck.
Aren't you not actually Canadian though?
That's what my dad's nickname was, Canuck.
No, his dad is. Or her dad is.
Oh, one time I asked
Well,
Hunter
he
if they
lived
were
there.
actually
He was born in San Diego,
no.
but he lived there like
mean,
majority of his. Yeah.
He's Canadian.
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday's good. Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Those are good calls. I like those. I like those a lot. Okay, so.
I think Lilo and Stitch. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good too. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to say High School Musical just because I can't think of anything that's more.
High School Musical for the Desert Island for now.
The second one.
Second one. High School Musical 2. Okay, got that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Box. Okay, and then the second thing on your list was the. We had this before we even started recording the zoo conversation.
I hate zoos.
Yes. So explain to me why zoos are terrible.
So I wrote a research paper, and basically my thesis was about how, well, I hate zoos, but also what really pissed me off when I was doing my research was how zoos say that they promote conservation and they promote bringing animals back into the wild and healing them and then bringing them back in. Education, conservation were the two that are promoted, yet little zoos, not many at all, actually, one, bring their animals back into the wild, rehabilitate them in the ways that they need and then bring it back, or two, educate in the proper ways, because how are you educating people on animals being in captivity when that's not their actual life?
Right.
Like you can say, oh, I'm going to teach you about this orca and their life, but you're not seeing it. Like it's not accurately portrayed.
Right.
And that's my problem was, why are you educating people on stuff that's not actually true?
I mean, not transparent and factual?
No, not at all.
in a super existential, like 30,000 foot meta way, do you feel like you two are now in the zoo and that all the adults that are running things are the zookeepers? Boom.
What animal would you be in the zoo?
That's a good question too.
I don't know.
I really like penguins right now.
I could see you being a penguin. They constantly move.
They're
just constantly moving to stay warm and like chatter.
Also, just penguins in zoos also piss me off. We're in Oregon. How are they in a zoo? How do you put
a penguin in a refrigerator?
How do you put a penguin in a California zoo where it's constantly hot? And also, one of the things was that you're observing these animals, but none of their, like, you're driving them, one, psychologically crazy.
Right.
Because the land mass that they'd usually have in the wild of a polar bear or of, like, any sort of, like, landscape roaming animal. Yeah. It's exponentially tiny compared to what they should have.
Right.
And so, one, you're driving them psychologically crazy, and when they're like, oh, well, the orcas killed this person. Well, yeah, because you're putting them in a pool.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be in there.
Right.
And also, you know what happens when you put animals in captivity because they go crazy. Like, physically, the whales, the fin falls over.
Right.
They have teeth marks on them. They, like, rub themselves against the pools, and the other orcas, like, rake them, and they get hurt because they're not supposed to be there. And also penguins in Oregon doesn't make sense. You're putting a penguin in a refrigerator, and while I really like looking at penguins, there's talking about
it doesn't seem right.
Which now that I hate everything virtual because everything's virtual,
right.
But having VR animals and like looking at their habitats and like being able to like walk around and like,
which would kind of beget the need to not have zoos anymore, because then you could just have somebody down in Antarctica walking around with a set of cameras on,
right?
So you could do a VR goggle penguin experience,
and you can see the penguins in their natural habitat, which they're actually supposed to do. You can see, oh, they're cool, they're diving in the water because the water's not filling up from a hose in the side of the Oregon Zoo, because it's how it's supposed to be.
I like that,
and that's how they actually act. And while I don't
that's thinking.
Yeah,
that's thinking. Take it to the full. Use the digital and go the full other end of the spectrum and be like, okay, no more zoos.
Yeah, if you're gonna say that we need to go virtual with everything, we need like our academics and everything we're supposed to be learning, why have people walk around and you're making money off people walking around zoos, selling food and everything, selling like cool glasses, looking at animals,
and stuffies.
Yeah, that aren't in their natural habitats, because kids think animals are interesting, but also, do they want to know the animals are being hurt while they're like, that's not good for the animals.
The truth.
Yeah, the fact that animals are they're miserable there.
Perhaps that's why most zoo attendance is by little children in grade school and not older children in high school, college, and such, because they understand that, oh, hey, by the way, these guys are miserable.
Yeah, they hate their lives because they're driven psychologically crazy. Physically, they hurt people and other animals because of that, which you can't blame them because they're not supposed to be there.
I think we just made the
and they'll probably die once they're back in the wild,
right? And their lifespans are
so used to.
You can't release them back in the wild because they're being hand fed by people.
Nurture.
So you're being rehabilitated, and maybe you have an injury. Maybe you take in an animal that's injured or like has like a broken whatever fin, and then you put them back. But they're being hand fed, and their pools are to the right temperature.
Right.
And everything they know is small. So when they go into the ocean, they're not going to be able to figure out their lives, because that's not how they were meant. And also, if they're bred in zoos, then you can't release them in the wild because that's not their natural habitat, because their natural habitat's a pool.
I feel like the takeaway from this entire podcast is going to be that you guys are stuck in a zoo.
Yeah.
And now we're going to try to release you to the wild.
Elephant? Oh, I used to really like elephants.
That's a good call.
The elephants at the Oregon Zoo are like pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
There's always like big news when there's babies.
Oh yeah, one was born in the snow a few years ago, I thought. Or there's like
probably
elephants like the snow or something like that. I don't know. There's some video about elephants liking the snow.
So
and their elephants are cool.
Why?
Because they're awesome.
Okay.
Because
they're awesome. They got big ears and big brains. They're super smart.
E for Emily.
E for Emily. E for elephant. Yeah, I like that. Elephants. Okay, so we got zoos. We got Disney. Ergs. You have an erg ranking. I've been informed.
Well, I have an erg ranking, but I don't know if yours is different.
Well, I'll hear yours first, and then I'll...
Well, I bike the most.
Okay. Which it's the least terrible, or because you actually like it?
One, it's the least... It depends, though, because sometimes after leg days, it's horrible.
Yes.
Because, yes, you're using your legs on the other ones, but the bike is only your legs, basically. So it's just... It's like, ow, these squats yesterday are really coming back to me at this point. But also, I don't know how I'm allowed to bike because I'm not allowed to spin. So I don't really know why I'm allowed to bike. I haven't really figured out why you let me bike still. But I like the bike. And then the other day when you're like, oh, that was a good like 2K time or whatever on the rower, I was like, oh, I kind of like the rower now. But also, you know that the ski erg ranks dead last. Dead last people on my list. So the rower falls in the middle now.
Okay.
Ski bike, or the whatever it's called, air bike.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Oh, the Devil's Tricycle.
The Devil's Tricycle. I don't actually mind that one because I like the fan. So
yeah, it is good for your hair.
It's
too.
like in the. It's like probably between the rower and the ski erg.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because I like
quite
the
last,
fan.
Yeah. Again, the ski erg is.
Ski erg dead last.
Yeah. So I'd go with probably the rower first. Yeah. I've started to like it more.
Yeah, you're good at it.
Yeah.
So's Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter's gotten really good at it.
Yeah, I don't know why he's so good at it.
Practice.
Oh, one of my like great grandparents they were in the Olympics for rowing.
Newsflash.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Know this? Yeah, that's amazing.
So maybe that's why. I don't know.
It's in there. It's in the DNA.
Stick to rowing.
Yeah. So and then probably bike.
Okay.
And then ski last. But
I
started to
like
ski.
Yeah.
What about sitting down ski erg for you?
It's terrible.
That is literally the worst. That is torture. That is torture.
Yeah, the seated ski erg is by far the worst thing ever.
You remember when I had to do that?
Yeah. Yes.
It was like 6K or something. We had to do it like 3 times, and I was like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
I like watching Emily get a skier while she's sitting down. Cause I'm sitting on my bike. I'm like, la la la. I'm like, Emily's over there sitting.
Bye,
And she turns around. She's like,
I'm like, I literally have like 12,000 people.
like you're only moving your arms. There's no way that doesn't hurt.
No, afterwards, I'm just like, I can't even lift my arms like above.
Okay, so desert island. I like the desert island thing because it forces you to pick one thing, which is always fun. Desert island. Okay, you can take one workout movement with you. Favorite movement. Equipment is irrelevant. Like if you need a squat rack because it's squats, fine. That's all fine. But one movement. What's your most favorite? If I give you the world is your oyster for workouts, but you really only get to pick one.
Deadlifts.
Deadlifts. Good answer.
Yeah, you always like that.
Yeah.
You always
I really like deadlifts.
I don't know. I kind of like the ball over the shoulder.
Oh, okay.
That's fun.
Yeah, you like
That's
that.
always
You do
fun.
like that.
I really do like that.
Okay, so
for some
why
reason.
the ball over shoulder? Then we'll go to deadlifts because that's the right answer.
Yeah.
Deadlifts, but not heavy deadlifts. Not like 4x4s, but
Max,
like a
yeah.
8.
4x8. Yeah.
Why ball over shoulder?
I don't know. It's just like, I think it's good for like everything.
Yeah. Pick up something heavy and throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Just
That's
get
how she
after
does
it.
it.
Yeah. Because I mean, you grab that heavy sucker and throw it, and it's that's good. That's
Any
awesome.
weight, really.
Yeah.
I mean, not
Well, the
100.
desert
Probably
island, you
can't
just find
do
a big
100.
fat turtle, like just
Yeah, or
chunk
rock.
him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rock actually probably be nicer. Turtle would probably not be
Poor
so nice.
turtle.
Yeah. Sorry, turtle. Sorry, bro.
Ah, jeez.
So
Hate zoos. Yeah. Don't put them on the wall near your chick, apparently.
So deadlift.
There's something to say about like a summer's like farmer's carry though. Like walking
Yeah.
back and
Yes.
down. There's something to say
That's
about
what I
like,
was gonna. That was
needing
like
to like
second.
when everything's open, when we had people, when like it's warm,
Sure.
when we
Yeah, it's warm.
when we do our workouts outside.
Yeah.
Something about everyone walking down and back with the ball.
Yeah.
Something about it, just
kind
high
of
five it on the way there, like.
Yep.
communal suffrage. Like
Yeah.
this sucks. My ball's heavy. My ball's heavy. Hey, these are heavy together, and I'm miserable.
And then it's like, oh, the guys they're carrying my weight on their shoulder, like
They're carrying you.
they're
on
carrying
the,
me on their shoulder, and it's like I don't talk to this guy ever, but like. This sucks. This sucks. At the end.
It brings us closer.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the only words I've spoken to some of the guys in here is
This
this
sucks.
sucks. Or when I say to Ethan the other day, go, oh, how those burpees on the Tabata or whatever.
Oh,
Go,
yeah.
oh yeah, how those burpees awful.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's a man of very few words too. So he works super hard. Like he's very quiet, but works super hard. So I'm sure like that was, yeah, that's the truth. He doesn't say much, but when he does, it's like, yeah, this is terrible.
Well, also there's something to say about planks too. I just really like planks.
Yeah.
Something about the fact that it's like, okay, we're over, depending on what day it is before that, because after those arm days and it's all the benching and then all the tricep and then you're like push-ups, I'm like, screw you. Okay, bye. My favorite is when you walk out and there's people, like if it's a 7 and you walk and there's a 6, and one time I saw Sabrina and she was leaving and I go, what was the workout? She goes, leave. Or I'll text when Joe used to come out. I'd be like,
Yeah.
what day was it today? He goes, Lane, I think it's arms tomorrow. I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm not coming in. It's like, Jake, I'm actually running today.
Yeah, I gotta
Like,
go. I'm sorry.
But
No.
deadlifts. But deadlifts.
Okay, deadlifts. Like ball over shoulder and deadlifts. Those are good. Those are actually two of my favorites.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of deadlifts.
I would do deadlifts too.
Pick up heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
pick up heavy things. You wanna
Regular
get-
deadlifts.
Or
not
arms.
the trap
Or
argument.
arms. Anything arms.
You like arms.
Yeah, that would be that. You and your brother the same. Any chance he has for bro day, all over it.
Yep.
Tear the sleeves off, do some curls, get yoked.
I wonder how
Big
small they
gains.
can get their sleeves. How deep they can get there.
How far down they can get. I think they go down literally to like that last little bit of hemmed fabric, so they can get all that exposure on the side, which is hilarious because last time I checked, it's only for themselves to look at. I'm like, then why don't you just not wear a shirt? Like, what's the difference? I don't
That's
understand.
my favorite summer workouts. It's like, how far can we go without all of them taking off their shirts?
It's like 5 minutes.
It's like the warm
Well,
up.
with the linemen, it's like they just like they're done. Like they see like 2K ladder and they're like, I'm just
Oh,
gonna
catcher.
take this
I
off
swear
right now.
Hunter is doing it more and more every
Hunter?
time he comes here. Yes.
Well, it's a funny thing you say that too, because like people tend to instantly associate lack of self-confidence and poor body image issues with girls. I mean, you've seen it in your brother. Like that's not a guy, or Kai or Ryan. Like those are not guys that would have 5-10 years ago been that comfortable with themselves, right? And now it's like off it goes, almost to the point of like, bro, put your shirt back on. It's cold. Like,
And they all look different too.
they're all different. I mean,
then
you
when
got-
you
Jackson's like skinny.
yeah.
When you
Sorry.
get home, then it's like, yeah, this workout today was like awesome. I need to get a pump before this. Like, Hunter always
look
is
how
talking
big my
about that. I'm like,
biceps are.
dude, I can't relate. I'm sorry. I just can't.
I'm like, okay.
No, but you guys can relate on the body image confidence side, though,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and that's
Hunter's got way more confident.
well, he is
sure.
considerably more confident, and he's a lot more vocal, right? I mean, he used to take all of his pent up rage out on the football field, and he tackled so hard he'd hurt people. And not like he was trying to hurt them. It's just that he was that good, that aggressive, that strong, but he'd hurt people. And it's like, yeah, but now it's like he's super, happy, fun. He's a better player now because he's in such a good headspace, right? And I got to think that the positive body image building that he did to where now it's maybe going to the other side of like, okay, either take the shirt off or quit cutting it up. But it's like, we're going
come on now.
They can do it with the crop tops. It's hilarious. Like, oh my God, this is like the 80s again. But for you guys, I mean, I got to think that's a big piece too. Is it being strong, being fit, knowing that you're physically capable of doing what you want to do? I mean, that has to have a positive impact on your body image. I would think.
There's just something about being stronger, just with girls, and needing to, because the concept body image, you have to be skinny. But at some point, I'm skinny, but then my core isn't as strong, so I can't lift as much. So I'd rather lift more than stick skinny. But there's something here about everyone supporting each other that it feels like, it doesn't really matter, because like in the summer it gets really hot, so it's like maybe I have to do these 2K my sports where I don't really want to, but they all have their shirts off. Who cares? Like at track we're not allowed to have our shirts off at all, even though it's 100 degrees out and there's like a certain heat degree at Jesuit that you have to meet for people to be allowed to run in their sports bras or whatever. It's like, okay, sorry, it's not modest or whatever, but here it's like, who cares? And also if you need to work hard and like it was the bench press to death or whatever you call it. The bench to death. To failure to death. I feel like it said death on it. I'm pretty sure it said death on that.
It might have.
I think it said like, or you called it death day or whatever. But there's something about like everyone walking over to some person benching and being like, oh, one more. Okay, one more. And then you get there, it's like, okay, you can do one more at least. And like everyone's just supporting everyone. Or like when you're doing the super short sprints, and then everyone's just watching each other because one, you're all gonna have to die, and two, why not support someone while they do it if we're doing it one by one, right? And there's something about like supporting each other that gives a confidence of even being a girl and being strong is different, because I think girls in sports and like body issue images is different than regular society. I think it's a different thing, but like I'd rather be strong, and especially here, knowing that like the guys are like, oh, she's strong, not oh, she's skinny, because also no one cares.
Nobody gives a shit
because we're all focusing on like getting strong ourselves,
right? That's interesting too, because it you said it specifically, knowing what school you go to without outing it all over the world.
I think I said it, so
well, okay, so you go to Jesuit, right? And that's a Catholic school, and you've got a whole lot of stuff wrapped up in that to where it's like, oh, it can only be, and I'm gonna make up a number, say 110 degrees to get the heat index high enough to where it's acceptable for you to be comfortable. And you said modest, because I know that those are their words, right? And it's like, well, we have to be modest. It's like, so by definition, they're making decisions based on aesthetics and their perceived morals of said aesthetics and what they think a woman should look like. Whereas I guarantee the guys' shirts, irrelevant. They got shirts and skin practice and basketball, like all that kind of stuff, right? So where outside of that, I'm not trying to bag on Jesuit or anybody else, just to be clear, but outside of that kind of religious, or we'll call it a traditional system, into a more modern environment, i.e. the gym, and you're around a bunch of other people that are your age, that are very progressively minded, highly educated, very well applied, they don't give two rips what you look like.
No.
They don't care. It's irrelevant what your body looks like in here especially, but then in your social group, right? And then stepping outside of that, and that's because it's grounded in the fitness and the performance, and not that you have to hit a certain number to be able to take your shirt off, more that, hey, I'm dying.
Or I'm here.
And you're here. Yeah. And it's and you guys have created this balanced environment where the only judgment is if you half-ass it. I mean, really. Like the only time you guys get on each other is like, hey, are you kidding me right now? Like
you missed that. You skipped
like 10 reps.
Yeah, right. And that's which usually comes with the younger people or the newer ones that kind of try to dodge reps, and they figure out like real quick, it's like, no, it doesn't. I don't care.
Everyone's
if your reps are
pretty
slow.
much watching you without watching you.
Yeah, exactly.
And because we're all doing, because we all start at the same time, we know when people are finished. It's like maybe because the older guys take way longer to do, because they're if we're squatting,
it's
because one, they just talk and they don't shut up, and Jake looks over and it's like, what are you guys doing? And Hunter's like, oh, sorry. But also like, they're one lifting super heavy, so they have to wait longer or whatever, or they're just talking and there's three of them sharing instead of just Emily and I, and so we're done faster. But we realize when people are done. Yeah. But it's just something about, I mean, we changed our dress code this year because going back to school on hopefully Tuesday, they want us to wear like they relaxed it for both students and teachers because the idea is that you're supposed to wash your clothes all the time because you're coming home and then you're supposed to take off your clothes and shower basically. So you're not spreading germs anywhere, which don't know if COVID transfers on clothes, but
that's what my mom did when she came back from work.
That's a little different though. Your mom's going to a cesspool infested with COVID, so
yeah. So we're going to school.
That's a high toxic environment for that, but yes.
And so they relaxed it, and so they said sweatpants. But I sent an email to our VP, and I was like, "This is my formal proposal to wear leggings because I don't wear sweats all the time.
So like tights, like
to wear these, yeah. So the ones that I wear all the time, and I sent it at the same time one of the counselors did, and the guy that I'm super close with, the teacher who runs all the activities, I CC'd on him, and then he sent me the other email. He goes, "Nice job timing at the same time," and her email was quoting the dress code, and it was basically saying, one, we know the dress code is sexist. Every dress code is sexist because it's teaching women that we care about how you look. And I get wearing super ripped jeans to like an event where we're representing Jesuit because we want to look professional.
Right, or good business representatives.
Right, but at school, it's like, okay, so you're letting me wear sweats, which can be baggy, compared to my black leggings, which are the same as my black jeans that I wear every day, except for the fact that they have pockets. So I can Velcro pockets on my leggings if you'd like me to. But other than that, if you're judging it based on how tight it is, or like you're basically saying that like, and like the dress code's always been a whole problem because it's okay, so you're teaching women that we need to worry about what we're wearing so that other people are comfortable. But it basically
subjugate to men's comfort.
Exactly. And the comfort of teachers, first of all, why do teachers care what we're wearing? They shouldn't be looking or caring or anything. But they also quoted the dress code about how you're assuming they want to minimize locker room use so that because everyone just changes the locker room like really close to each other. And so I think they're shutting down locker rooms for our practices basically. But they're assuming that girls work out in sweats. And I work out in spandex, and no one cares because our spandex are what we run in, and that's what we have to run in. And if it's hot, then we'll run in leggings. Or if it's hot, we'll run in spandex. And if it's cold, we'll run in leggings. But my spandex are pretty tight, and they're pretty short because they're spandex.
Same difference, basically.
They're shorter than the guys, like the long underwear that they wear to run in.
Right.
So it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Why not just let us wear leggings? And I'm like, my sweatshirts are huge. Who cares?
And they have gone ahead and said it's okay to wear leggings now.
Mm-hmm. They changed it the other day.
That's a big thing. Emily's like, I go to public school. I wear where the fuck I want.
Yeah, and so I have to wear jeans, and I hate jeans. I hate jeans.
Yeah.
So I always wear black skinny jeans because that's the closest to leggings.
Sure.
But that's also, it's annoying. And so like my leggings can be athletic, so I could just go straight to track if I wanted to. Yeah. Assuming I'm going to track practice,
right. But that's a fascinating cultural shift because you've got, presumptively one of the oldest churches on the planet that backs the Jesuit school, making a fundamental change to dress code. I get dress code like for, no shoes, no shirt, no service, or like, hey, if I'm going to go represent my business or your business, or we're a team representing ourselves, you don't want to, we're visual creatures. Like we don't all work with sonar. So it's like, hey, what I see is the first like literal impression. Okay, if you look like a trash panda, it's like, okay, dude, you got to clean your shit up, right? But if you look like you are a presentable athlete, yeah, I get that. Yeah. That makes sense. But there's the line there, and that's fascinating that now they've moved off of that, again, very patriarchal, subjugate type foundation of women here, men whatever. But yeah, to be progressive like that, I mean, that's a big deal.
It's also our COVID dress code, so I don't know how long this is going to stand for.
Yeah, I was about to ask, how do you think it'll go back once COVID's like...
I'm not sure, because we've also considered uniforms too. Jesuit has in the past few years. We've even considered uniforms.
OES wears uniforms.
Yeah.
But I think that they can wear, I think everybody can wear everybody's uniform more or less now, like with the social identifiers of like, hey, if you want to wear pants, wear pants. If you want to wear, the I don't even know if they do skirts anymore. I don't. I think everybody's in pants. But I mean, point being, like, wear what you want, but it's going to be within this like kind of color code.
Yeah, I mean, it works. Uniforms, I think there is a benefit to wearing uniforms. You don't have to worry about what you wear. It's not classist, or it's not, you're wearing the same thing every day. Everyone's wearing the same thing. So the only thing that care is the shoes. Your socks are all the same color. Everything you wear is the same color except for your jackets and your shoes, basically, which you can always do stuff there. But at least for Jesuit, like, they're equal because, okay, boys and girls, you have the same rules on shorts. Right. So the shorts have to be 3 inches to the knee. Okay, so guys can find shorts 3 inches to the knee, but I can't wear shorts 3 inches to the knee. I don't own any. Oh. Girls don't make shorts 3 inches to the knee.
Yeah, those are like cargo khakis.
Just like longer basketball pants.
Yeah. No, they're like, but you also can't wear basketball pants to school. Guys can't wear. athletic shorts at school. And obviously girls can't find any because girls don't wear that. But like the athletic that we'd wear on like we had like free dress days where it's like, oh, we earn this much money for our fundraiser, you can wear sweats on Monday, so we wear sweats is like our special.
Raise enough money to pay us off so you can have one day of your own.
Well, whenever we have cool, we do spirit days, and so the spirit days you can't wear leggings, you can wear pajama pants or sweats, and so it's never leggings, it's always sweats. And so obviously I'd rather wear leggings than sweats,
right?
But I mean,
that's a big move. Yeah, which is funny because you're the exact opposite, because you go to public school.
Yeah.
And there is nothing even close to dress code other than you can't have...
They can call people out and be like, yeah, you have to like go...
Yeah, you can't have hate speech. You can't have hate symbolism, right? I mean, you could wear whatever, pants or...
like girls can just wear like shirts that make their like... Yeah, just all out.
That's so we got dress coded for our jeans being frayed. Jeans... Or I watched... one of our BVs dress code someone for their jeans being frayed. The only dress code that guys had, the hard one, was that if you have a shorts or pants with a belt loop, you have to wear a belt. And then when they made the girls dress code harder sophomore year, they dropped the belt requirement.
Interesting.
So it went backwards for us and forwards for the guys. And so we were really pissed off about that.
I can imagine. That's interesting. Especially because, again, the dichotomy of like that whole existence, right? You're in the Wild West of just open whateverness, right?
My Crocs. Emily, I don't think I can wear Crocs to school. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I can wear Crocs.
We have a whole she doesn't need to be wearing Crocs. The majority of her injuries in her life have come while wearing Crocs.
My favorite was when Jake's like, "What's wrong with why do you have a brace on, or why do you have a Band-Aid?" And they're like, "She was playing basketball and she was wearing Crocs."
Yeah, you're trying to dunk with Crocs. Like, come on.
Not in sport mode.
No, I know.
Not in sport mode.
First mistake. First mistake.
Casual mode. I had my casual Crocs on, not my tactical Crocs.
You should never do it.
No, it's a bad idea.
I've learned.
It's a terrible idea.
Obviously.
So, but that's funny because, full circle back around to when you're training, when you're working out and all those kind of things, it's like if you've got that mindset of, everybody's equal, right? To an extent. It's not equal results because obviously the boys and some of the women can lift more than you can.
Right.
Or you can run faster than they can. Not in that sense, like the numbers, but just in the personification of who they are as a person. Mm-hmm. Everybody's the same, then it doesn't matter, right? And so who cares if you've got leggings on and you got a, whatever t-shirt or sleeveless or it becomes irrelevant when it becomes I like the idea of the uniforms just in the sense of like decision fatigue, or you don't have to think about it anymore and I know you well enough to know you might have different outfits every day, but it's kind of the same genre. It's like, cool, warm-ups, sweatshirt, go. Right. I mean, it's Hunter's the same way, your sister kind of goes all over the place, but like I wear the same damn thing every day. It's a different color. Sweatshirt. It might even say I have like 3 pairs of the exact same colors of stuff because it's just like one's clean and the others are not. And I just keep going through because like I don't want to think about it.
I wear Jackson's old shirts and Nike shorts.
Yeah, because they're
every
there.
Single day and same shoes. Yeah. I don't know. I just like hear that it's not everyone's equal because obviously I'm not going to lift what Jackson's going to lift, and sometimes we even differ on most of the stuff, but it's more equity, and it's just like, oh, so I'm lifting this much for me today, and that's really great, and the guys are going to congratulate me because I'm doing well.
You're doing
but
you.
Also, Charlie's going to go lift 500 pounds over there, and we're all going to be happy for him.
Yes.
But also,
nobody's
if I'm squatting
judging.
a third of that, that's great for me.
Yeah.
So everyone's happy for everyone because we're doing it in our own
and it takes
limits.
all that other kind of BS out and throws it away, and just I'll be curious to see how that impacts, because you guys are of a generation, your mom, works out like a maniac,
right?
Very sports minded. Both families are very athletically driven, right? And you guys are both internally driven to do that in your free time as well. But with that mindset of like, I don't care what you look like, I care that you are performing at your best
and working hard.
You work as hard as you can.
And what's that going to look like when you guys are in charge of business, right? Because I mean we talk about this all the time. You guys are going to be the boss. Like, there is no business on the planet or profession on the planet, whether you go into nursing or whatever, that is not going to benefit from having the two of you there in a leadership role and taking that mindset that you've developed. Really, I know with her because I've had her since she was, when Jackson was seven with Jacob and you were 5, right? Running around the field. Heath wasn't even born yet. It's like they weren't even there. And I've seen that from the whole, the whole way up, is that no, this is a different generation of messaging of, no, your role is not on the sideline, making cookies.
Right.
Your role is not on the being in the kitchen doing, it's like, no, that shit. I hope it's dead. I really do. I hope it's gone and buried, and that everybody can stand on their own merits of like, can you do the job? Yes. Awesome. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you dress like. I don't care what direction you do or don't pray at night. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Can you do the job, and can we get it done together? Right. And I seeing that in you guys, and especially with the the volunteer stuff you do and the community outreach stuff that you guys have done, that gives me hope that we're not all totally screwed.
Well, I still bring cookies, but I grind when I'm done. So.
That is also true. That is also true.
We still are good at baking.
I still like baking. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, those ginger cookies. It's like one serving is one bag, and I do It's gotten so bad, Emily, that like when she brings them, there are texts that go to my wife so that my wife knows that she's brought cookies so that I am on.
You're held accountable that you can't eat them all.
At least 3 of them.
Because I told Alyssa one time, and then she told me when she came, and she's like, "Where the hell were the cookies?" I was like, "Not my problem." I was like, "I swear, I set aside some for you too." But
I delivered all of the substance, and
your husband ate all of them.
That's a fact.
That's his fault, not mine.
That is also true. I like cookies. I made that very clear. No, but that's. I mean, so I'm super encouraged. Even though we're still kind of sort of in lockup mode and things are changing and not changing, but I'm super encouraged that you guys are going to be the next gen, and people like you two, Maya. I mean, you guys are gonna crush
awesome.
adulting. Oh yeah, Maya's like everybody's superhero. Like and Katie Day.
It's
like Katie. I mean, it's like the amount of shit you guys have had to go through. And
there's not a better role model than Katie Day.
No. I mean, honest, and when she's feeling better, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna jam.
Yeah.
I mean, she is flipping super. I mean,
I've only met her a few times, but
yeah,
she's pretty
Wonder
awesome.
Woman ain't got shit on Katie Day.
Oh, I saw her the other night at Momo's when we were talking about her.
Katie?
Yeah. When I left.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, you guys are killing it. You're crushing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't change a thing for anybody except for yourself if you want to.